The perfect conditions for a perfect storm in the modern world, humanity has created an ecosystem that is extraordinarily conducive to the spread of infectious diseases. The key factors include, at no point in history have humans been more interconnected. In 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic, there were over 4.5 billion airline passengers annually. This unprecedented mobility means that a pathogen emerging in a remote corner of the globe can reach a metropolitan hub within hours. Airplanes are, quite literally, vessels of disease dispersal, turning localized outbreaks into global crises. The United Nations projects that by 2050, nearly 70% of the global population will reside in urban areas. These densely packed cities, with their crowded markets, mass transit systems, and sprawling slums, act as breeding grounds for disease. The closer we live and interact, the more opportunities we provide for pathogens to spread. Climate change, deforestation, and wildlife trade are increasingly forcing humans into closer contact with animals. Over 70% of emerging infectious diseases are zoonotic, originating in animals before making the leap to humans. SARS-CoV-2, which likely originated in bats, is just one of many examples of how environmental degradation can spark global health crises. The misuse and overuse of antibiotics have led to the emergence of superbugs, bacteria resistant to multiple drugs. The next pandemic may not be caused by a virus but by an antibiotic-resistant pathogen that renders our medical arsenal obsolete. Advances in biotechnology, while promising, also pose risks. The potential for accidental or intentional release of engineered pathogens adds a layer of complexity to pandemic preparedness. Lessons from past pandemics history offers a grim but invaluable repository of knowledge on pandemics. While each outbreak is unique, they often follow predictable patterns that highlight humanity's strengths and weaknesses. Among the most instructive is the COVID-19 pandemic, which exposed critical vulnerabilities in our systems. One of the starkest lessons from COVID-19 is the importance of early detection and decisive action. Delays in acknowledging the severity of the virus allowed it to establish a foothold, transforming an isolated outbreak into a global catastrophe. The lesson: surveillance systems must be robust, global, and transparent. While COVID-19 revealed extraordinary examples of international collaboration, such as the unprecedented speed of vaccine development, it also exposed deep fractures in global solidarity. Competing national interests, vaccine nationalism, and misinformation campaigns hampered the global response. Future pandemics demand a more unified approach, with equitable resource distribution at its core. Countries with strong public health systems weathered COVID-19 more effectively. Yet, in many parts of the world, underfunded health systems struggled under the weight of the crisis. Investments in healthcare infrastructure, from hospitals to community health programs, are not luxuries but necessities. COVID-19 was not just a viral pandemic, it was an infodemic. False information spread as rapidly as the virus itself, undermining public health efforts and costing lives. Combating misinformation must be a central tenet of any future pandemic response strategy. The rapid development of mRNA vaccines was a triumph of modern science, but vaccine hesitancy and mistrust undermined their effectiveness. Rebuilding trust in scientific institutions is critical for future crises. The road ahead: why another pandemic is inevitable. The conditions that enabled past pandemics, globalization, urbanization, environmental encroachment, are accelerating. If anything, humanity is more susceptible today than ever before. Disease emergence is a statistical certainty, not a possibility. Consider Disease X, a hypothetical but plausible scenario posed by the World Health Organization, WHO. This unknown pathogen, with high transmissibility and lethality, looms on the horizon. It could emerge tomorrow from a deforested rainforest, a factory farm, or even a laboratory accident. The only uncertainty is when, not if. The imperative to act. If there is one overarching lesson from COVID-19, it is that humanity cannot afford complacency. Apathy is the greatest enabler of pandemics. The next global crisis will test our preparedness, our resilience, and our ability to act collectively. We stand at a crossroads. On one path is a world perpetually blindsided by pandemics, lurching from crisis to crisis with mounting casualties and economic devastation. On the other is a world that learns from its past, investing in science, cooperation, and robust systems to mitigate the inevitable. The question is not whether we can prevent pandemics, it is whether we are willing to prepare for them. The stakes could not be higher. Our survival depends on it.